Hello and welcome back to my Eruption of Shame. Today we have March 2023's Eruption of Shame. And on the face of it, I think it actually looks pretty good. At least for me, at least. There's a few things and we'll have a look at that later. Now, amazingly, and this is shocking even to me, I actually did pause last month. It was that bad for me. I was like, it's not worth the extra horror game. It really isn't. So, is this month better? Seems like it. Let's have a look here. The first game is Biomutant. The only thing I know about this game is that it is quite expensive looking. As in it looks, it is expensive. It's like 60 Australian dollars. Looks beautiful, but that's about all I know from it. So I'm gonna have to say we should watch the trailer for this one. So. Yes. That's a robot. That's a robot grasshopper. Aww. Wait, is this a game version of that world where everything's like half machine? Because if so, that's really cool. Getting serious, serious rocket vibes here. It's a shame he's not a smartass. Huh. Okay. I'm still not entirely sure what I'm looking at here. But it does look like an action adventure with like half robot, half human. Oh, not half human. Half living being things. Ooh. It looks like it's got towns. Oh, it is. It's an action RPG. That's even better than what I thought it was. Ooh. Well, that sounds fun, doesn't it? An open-world post-apocalyptic kung fu fable with a unique martial artist-style combat system, mixing melee, shooting, and mutant ability action. That sounds like a very cool headliner. I mean, assume you don't already own it. But it does seem random and weird enough that a lot of people won't have owned it. That's weird. Wow, and it looks beautiful. It just looks phenomenal. So that's a lovely pickup. Now, when we talk about good pickups, I'm also excited to see this in there because I played the original, and yeah, there was a leak a couple of days ago which suggested these were going to be the headliners, and I was like, that's really good if true.
So, this is the world we made. Despite everything that we've witnessed, we just can't resist playing God.
Yes, so we'll keep doing it.
We fool ourselves into believing that if we could go back in time, we'd make better choices, wiser decisions. Maybe this time, we'd just let nature take its course and resist our compulsion to control it. But
just don't cut corners.
That's not in our nature, is it? Out here in the wild, chaos is in control. And chaos always finds a way. The question now is, where will it take us next?
Okay, besides the sport, the thing that's going to get me some sort of flag, of course, because you know, Jurassic Park music. That is definitely going to get some sort of a flag. Um, hopefully not the account removed or not account removed, the video removed or anything. Otherwise, I have to completely get it out. But yes, this is exactly what it says on the tin. It is a dinosaur park simulator based in the Jurassic World or Jurassic Park universe. So, is this the best dinosaur park simulator out there? Probably not. I like Parkosaurus, for example. I think Parkosaurus is quite good. I like the upcoming Prehistoric Kingdom because I backed it on Kickstarter, so spoiler there. Um, but that being said, I'll always take more. I'll always take more dinosaur things, and the original was quite good. I did play the original a little bit, and so having the new one on there is quite good. As you can see, 84. So a high price to save if you don't want to pay it normally. So yeah, really good, really good. I'm not surprised to see that there. Now this next one, speaking of games I backed on Kickstarter, this is one I still haven't played myself, but I did back on Kickstarter, so I'm looking forward to play. In fact, watching this trailer now is going to be the first time I've really looked into this game since early access, just because I just haven't gone around to playing it yet. So I don't know what it's like. I'm glad to see it here, and I'm glad to see it mostly positive. It would be nice to see it a little bit higher. But yeah, can I go see the video? Let me get back to the video. Yes, you can. All right, let's have a look. Let's have a look at this. Oops. Oh, gotta turn the sound back on.
I refuse to die here!
Turn the thing back up. Why did that go down? There we go.
When you woke in the snow, your mind was already gone.
I'm a deserter. A dead man walking.
Your brother is your weakness, Salim.
Darian is the only person I can trust with this mission.
We have no choice but to fight this abomination.
But given it's a Western JRPG, that's... Like, I know there's been a lot of talk recently.
We will find a cure to the corrosion.
You have a choice to make.
What are you ready to sacrifice to save her?
Is it a Western one, or is it actually made from...
This is
No.
nothing we can't handle.
Follow my lead and we'll get through this.
Yeah, France. Yeah, south of France.
And not in a good way.
By the will of the gods.
Everyone is dead. What kind of hope is this?
The only kind we have.
Ah, I'm so glad they did this. I'm so glad they managed to get through it. Ooh, it's got future stuff too. Okay, I really am looking forward to getting this game.
If you want.
You have no right to give up.
This is the story of what we have sacrificed.
There's been a lot of talk recently about the title of JRPG for games. Some people saying that it is a word of derision, and I can understand that people see it that way because, yeah, there's been a lot of horrible shit that people have said about JRPGs in the past. But I've always loved them. They're one of my favorite genres. So it's a hard one. Because when we're talking about the possibility of changing their title from JRPG to something else, it's like... I don't know if I really wish we could not, but I also wish we could do it in such a way that we can respect those who do feel in some way annoyed by it. Like, the fact of the matter is, in general, there is a very specific set of mechanics and process that goes into what is called a JRPG, in my mind at least. And I think of them more as the genre stuff. And a lot of them, obviously, come out of Japan. Makes sense. But technically not all of them anymore. there was a discussion, oh, should we make Stick of Truth for JRPG? I mean, in terms of definition, genre definition, obviously not in literal terms of Japan, Stick of Truth, that's a JRPG, technically. This is the same process of a JRPG. I would call it a JRPG. Because it has the turn-based combat, the story-focused nature of it all. Like, it's a very specific type of RPG, and a lot of people go out of their way to produce them nowadays. And they were like, oh, but is Dark Souls a JRPG? No! Like, technically, yes, it's out of Japan, but it's not that style. I would call that an ARPG. I don't think that we have to bundle JRPGs in like everything for Japan as a JRPG anymore, which is why I wonder, should we just think about this as GOG versus Good Old Games? A long time ago, GOG was Good Old Games. That's what it was known as. And then it converted to GOG.com, which was just GOG. It wasn't anything else then. And then it actually went back to Good Old Games, although technically it's still GOG in that it does a bunch of other stuff as well. I sort of wonder if this is a time where I kind of wish that we could just be like, yeah, they're JRPGs, not Japan RPGs. They are JRPGs. To sort of, it's sort of like acknowledge that that was the sort of game that was made in Japan a while ago, but now it's JRPG. Like, I don't know. I don't know at all. And honestly, if the same developers who said that they didn't want people to use JRPG listened to this and they were like, no, you're missing the point entirely, then that's fine. We can find something else. I don't know what, but just know a lot of us really love these games. We love them with a passion, and we love the story focus. We love the fact the music is always phenomenal. Like, a JRPG is just a beautiful romp, and I have played so many JRPGs that just like you're sitting down and watching a good anime. It's not to insult it at all. It's to be like, this is what I love to do, right? So if this is made out of France and it's using JRPG tropes, I still consider it a JRPG. If Japan releases a series of games which aren't JRPGs, and they're just RPGs, or they're ARPGs, or they're CRPGs. There's been a couple of CRPGs which are out of Japanese studios now. That's okay. Like, they can take that mantle. Like, to the point where there's now Souls-like. Like, that's a lot more accurate for things like Elden Ring. Granted, it was made by the same people, but like, that's a Souls-like. I don't consider that a JRPG at all. Just because it's out of Japan and it's an RPG doesn't instantly make it a JRPG. At least on my mind. So, I'm curious as what you guys think in general. I know I don't have a massive following or any way we can actually cause any change. What would you call a JRPG, if not a JRPG? Do you agree we should just go JRPG? Or should we find something else? Like, how else do we express what it is? It's a grand adventure. That's what these are. They're grand adventures. Do we call them like GTTA? No, that's too close to G2A. That doesn't work. But they are. They're grand turn-based adventures. That's what they are. Beautiful music. I don't know. Honestly, I'd turn around their face and even say it's an MRPG. A masterpiece RPG. Because a lot of these JRPGs are designed in such a way that they basically feel like the opus of the team that made them. They've got amazing music, beautiful character development, a great storyline. They're basically trying to make their perfect story. I almost feel like MRPG I would be okay with, just because they are someone's like magnum opus. They are like what they're wanting. Like every JRPG I've ever played, at least the good ones, of course. I mean, there's a lot of this sort of a style made by, say, RPG Maker games, which some of them are fairly, yeah. But there's a lot that have been made with a lot of love and care. It's really hard. So yeah, what do you think? either way, one way or another. Now, obviously, I already own Edge of Eternity, so this will be one I give away to a friend. In fact, let's have a look if I've got anyone on my list who wants Edge of Eternity. I mean, if not, I already know who. I already know there's people who. Oh, there's one person who wants it. Anyway, yes, basically though, I feel like this is a good pickup. In its own way, I think it's a good idea, and quite frankly, I would definitely support more Western-made JRPGs. Right, and I would also support the changing of the title if need be. But we need to come up with something. We need to come up with something that's new if that's the case. But what? Now, next one, Heroes Hour. Now, this one kind of bugs me. Now, not because of what it is. The game itself actually looks pretty good. At least a little bit basic. It's only like $25 in price. But it reminds it. The name is very similar to another name called Heroes Hour Contract, and it's grand. That's a bad name on their behalf. But like, that's what I was searching for. So it's Heroes Hour. I wasn't searching for this technically. Anyway, it's okay. The point is, single player strategy fantasy. Yeah, I'll play this. I'll enjoy this. It looks very much like a almost close to like a Heroes of Might and Magic 3, at least in the overworld view, and then it seems to go back down, and it's more like, yeah, it's a little bit more action packed then, but it really just feel like a really low poly recreation of Heroes of Might and Magic 3, which I'm okay with. I know there's been a couple of those recently, and yeah, I'm here for it, to be honest. Next game is Rogue Lords. Now, this is one I have on my. This is one I actually have on my wish list because it's another one of these card battler strategies thingies, the deck building roguelikes. Now, the thing is, there's always a joke that there'll always be one of these in the Humble Bundle. Like, I've seen these people who are like, oh yeah, there's a humble bundle, and they list a bunch of games, and they always just say at the end, and a deck building roguelike. And it's true, there are a lot of deck building roguelikes that we've gotten from Humble. But I quite like them, okay? I think they're quite fun. Deck building roguelikes still often have a bit of that turn-based focus, but instead of being like a JRPG and having a big story focus, they're like, you're basically trying to get as powerful as possible in as limited time as possible. So see, you've only got these number of nodes, and you need to get as powerful as possible. And depending on how you do it, and depending on what you've got, these can become really satisfying games. Like Slay the Spire, and obviously I'm comparing it to a king of the genre, which is much better than this in general, but you know, you can only play Slay the Spire for so long. Slay the Spire, the idea is you basically go through, and by the end of it, you can be an immortal god just because of the pickups you've made. And I love that. I really do love those relic-based and those sort of like card-based games. So Rogue Lords, brilliant pickup. It's on my wish list. Happy to see it. That's that. Now, Demon Turf, this is one I have no idea what it is, and I need to see what it is. It says it's a Humble Bundle presents one, so maybe it's a brand new game. I don't know. I'm kind of curious. I don't know what this is. Let's have a look.
The demon world is inhabited by all kinds of nasties.
Okay, interesting 3D, 2D look.
None stand a chance of the Demon King himself. I say it's time to kick his sorry butt out of here.
I like the music. Came out November 2021, apparently. It's got voices in the music. Okay, it's got platforming elements. I'll suck at, but it looks charming.
What's wrong with you?
But I told you I'd do it.
Okay, this game just looks positively charming.
I always got your back, Pete.
You and me, the dream team.
I'm getting vibes of old school platformers in general from this. Combined with, it's almost... Okay, depending on how much the story plays a part, depending on how much the story plays a part, I could really love this game. Like, it's giving me Psychonauts vibes. It's giving me like old school, like Nintendo 64 platformer vibes. If this is like a modern reinterpretation of that genre with added storyline, yeah, I like it. It's also giving me a little bit of Hat in Time vibe, especially with the main character. So like all these vibes I'm getting seem pretty damn good. Okay. I do hope this is good as it looks. I think this is a good pickup. I'm happy with this one. I love it when Humble can give us something I've never heard of before. Alright. So, a couple of days ago, I was looking on free game findings, seeing if there was anything else to post on the community tab to be like, hey, there's free games. And one of the games that came up as free was the demo version of a Golden Light that's apparently being removed from Steam. I figured I wouldn't post it just because, well, clearly if it's a demo being removed from Steam, that's a sign that, well, A, it's a demo, or you don't care about getting free demos. Like, free demos are everywhere. But B, it's a horror game, so screw that noise. I don't care. Not to say I won't post horror games if they're free and really free, and hell, I'll claim them because that's sort of the rule of everything. But, oh dear. Why do we have to add another horror game to my list? I hope it's surreal enough that it's not scary. I hope it's surreal enough that I don't get scared by it. But quite frankly, some of these iconography, some of this imagery, not a fan. Seems like a lot of people are though. 95% overwhelmingly positive is a hard ask for a game to reach. So, yeah, Golden Light. Fair enough, I suppose. Currently came out in... Actually, wait, that's odd. It says 95% overwhelmingly positive, but the Steam page says 94% very positive. Now, the question then becomes, did people get it for free? No, no, it's not recent recent causing it. Okay, then why is Humble saying it's overwhelmingly positive when it's only very positive? I know it's only 1% difference, but it's still not overwhelmingly positive. When you see overwhelmingly positive, that means, at least in my mind, overwhelmingly positive. Okay. A little bit dishonesty there with Humble. Alright, so next one is Monster Crown. I think, is this the last one? Yes, this is the last one. So Monster Crown. I mean, you can tell what aesthetic it's going for instantly. Right? Like action, indie, adventure, RPG. Yeah. Yeah, it's literally one of those Pokemon ROM hacks that's been made into an actual game. And quite frankly, I support this 110%. I loved some of those Pokemon ROM hacks when I was a kid. This is clearly like, hey, what if we created Pokemon Red and Blue years ago? And Pokemon's a great example of a JRPG. In general, that's never been called a JRPG by a lot of people, despite the fact it literally comes out of Japan. So why? It's a JRPG, you just have many, many, many characters. Right? Instead of having 4 party members, you have 400 or 700 or whatever number they're up to right now. So yeah, I'm actually quite a big fan of these sort of games as well, as you'd imagine. So yeah, the art style is a little bit, I mean, it's exactly what it wants to be, isn't it? It's very much looks like it's from a sketchbook of someone who's designing like Pokemon Red and Blue, or Green and Red, I should say. So yeah, no, that's nice. That looks good. I think that's a good pickup. I mean, overall, this is a pretty good bundle. I'm not happy personally by Golden Light, but you guys might. Edge of Eternity I've already owned, but that's okay. It's a good game. Like, overall, I'm okay by this bundle. I think this is a good turnaround from last week. Now, it does have the percentage of Jurassic World Evolution DLCs. It doesn't even actually tell me what DLCs, unfortunately. Also, you should be aware, they've been taking a lot of games out of the Humble Vault recently and not adding many more in. So, if you're going to be buying this for a Humble Vault game, you might want to play it as soon as possible because you never know when they're going to actually remove something. But yeah, Humble Bundle, pretty strong showing. How about Prime? Well, Prime has now had the rest of its month go, and it's been the first month of weekly games. So basically, as long as we check a little bit at the start and a little bit at the end, we should be fine in terms of what we're actually doing. Now, as you can see here, all the previous month's games did end up coming out. And I did post about all of them, though I was a little bit later on the second half of the week in general. So at the moment, Amazon is releasing one game per period. Like they're releasing one game per week every Thursday, Friday my time. They release. The first one is Baldur's Gate, and quite frankly, that's an amazing game. It should be said, however, it's only Prime, which is interesting. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing per se, but usually you'd expect this sort of key to be a GOG key, which would be best option for this, but that's okay. The other games are meant to be coming out this month, though. So we got Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, which, I mean, it's Baldur's Gate. It's one of the premier, what's his faces, D&D style games out there. Like, this is what people think of when they think about D&D games, D&D CRPGs, etc. That being said, I have not played the Enhanced Edition, and it is on my mountain in general because I already own it. It's pretty good if you don't own it, though, because I'm quite happy to see the Baldur's Gate there, especially with the upcoming release of Baldur's Gate 3, something I'm very much looking forward to playing by Larian. Next one is Book of Demons, another roguelike deck builder. We're probably getting Humble eventually, let's be honest. But I mean, it looks pretty good. It's got an isometric art style to it. It's got a really interesting like paper craft art style to it. Also, a pretty good pickup from Amazon. Iron Fish is something I'm not so sure about in general. I played the original Surgeon Simulator by Brosser and loved it. I then played I Am Bread, and it was just not designed for PC. It was designed for console, for a controller, and that was that. Iron Fish, I don't know which side of the spectrum it lies on. Whether it's closer to Surgeon Simulator, where it's hard, but you can definitely work it out, or if it's closer to Bread Simulator, where, like, what's even the point? So I don't know where I Am Fish lies. I guess we'll find out now it's on the mountain, but I have my misgivings. Next game is Adios, and this game is also going to feature later in the video in terms of looking at the Fanatical bundles. So yes, it is a walking simulator mystery thriller. Okay, sure. Says here, Pig Farm says no one wants to dispose of bodies for the mob. What follows is a discussion between him and his would-be killer. So yeah, interesting. Not a bad pickup in general, I don't believe, but that's okay. Now, the next one I could only find as talking through the terms of it was a mobile game. So it looks like they're actually doing a mobile game. I can't find a PC version of this, so I don't know if they're going to be like, because they do have, oh, come on, it doesn't work on any of my devices, really? That's a surprise. Anyway, it's interesting to me that they'd release a mobile game. The question is it going to be on PC now? Is it already on PC and I just didn't know or don't know the website it's using? But it's definitely not on Steam, which is interesting. So if this one is true, well, yeah. Next one is Peaky Blinders Mastermind. Now, I have played this on my channel. I gave it my Mountain of Shame treatment, and I had quite a good time. It wasn't my sort of game to keep wanting to play more, but as far as it was like a unique gameplay, mechanic, it was pretty fun. So basically, in Peaky Blinders, what you do is you've got a certain period of time and multiple characters. The idea is that every time your character does something, it pushes forward the time. But here's the thing. You can sort of program what they're going to do and then change character and then say what that other character will do. So it's really interesting. It's a strategy game. It's turn-ish based. Like it's not really. It's like it's real time. It's a unique, interesting thing. Basically, you have to set up all the actions at the same time, which is sounds a little bit confusing, but they do a really good job of onboarding you to it. With a bunch of like a pretty good story that brings on the tutorializing. So yeah, I will probably play it again one day if I ever watch Peaky Blinders, because I had no idea what Peaky Blinders was. I remember when I first got it on my when I first got it on my wish list, on my Mountain of Shame list, I was like, this sounds like a bloody game show. It is not. It is not. The name. It's basically about this family who makes liquor during Prohibition. So fair. The last one, and I'm guessing this one will not be included on Amazon Prime directly, but I'm guessing it'll be included on the that silly other app they sometimes give away games on. It is a hidden object game. City Legends Trapped in the Mirror Collection. Look, there are some people who really love these games, and there's other people who just don't care. It looks like this is one that people don't really care. It was released half a year ago, and already just only has 2 user reviews. So I think if you want this sort of game, you've probably already played and owned it. But if you don't, you're sort of like, I don't know how expensive they are to make. I'm sure they have their profits. They're probably just making them on another platform, but that's okay. So that's all the Amazon upcoming games. Be sure to claim some of these previous ones, mind. At least Toon Shay and Space Warlord Simulator and Space Crew, they all look very fun. Unfortunately, Morrowind is obviously now gone because it was the very first game. It seems that they're putting the first game as the best game first, which is good because otherwise you might forget about, but that's okay. Now, that is the Humble Games, and that is the Amazon Prime games. I would also like to spotlight some of the current bundles that are out at the moment. The first is the Platinum Collection, and surprisingly, I really love this bundle. I ended up buying it, but not just buying it, I bought more games than I actually, than was max. I kept going, and it's still added for the cheapest price, so I'm like, score. So I really like this bundle. First of all, it had a bunch of games that were on my wish list, like Such Art. I was on my wish list. And I believe there was another one as well that was on my wish list. Oh, is it still here? Maybe it's been sold out. I think Lake was the other one that was on my wish list. But yeah, there's a bunch of things here. But then they've also got Imposter Factory and To the Moon, Finding Paradise, etc. These are fantastic emotional storylines, which are just, I love them. I love them both. I haven't actually played for Imposter Factory yet. I'm waiting to get it on my mountain, and then I'll ask Para to play it. Para has obviously played To the Moon. I'm going to see if she'll play Finding Paradise as well, and then we'll play Imposter Factory together when the time finally comes, because why not? Now, as for the others, Love Esquire was a game I backed on Kickstarter. So once again, obviously take it with a grain of salt. But basically, it's a light pornographic sort of RPG dating sim. There are definitely elements where you get to the end of their romance tree and images show, but they're pretty tame images, to be honest. And it's more about the game, and the characters are really interesting. There's a cow that goes moo multiple times. I liked it. I had a great time with Love Esquire, so I'm happy to see that there. The rest of the games I don't have as much experience with. Oh, Game Deck is another one I backed on Kickstarter, and so is Perfect Gold. Don't judge. It's apparently overwhelmingly positive, so I still haven't really played enough of it to be wondering why it's overwhelmingly positive. I'm kind of curious to go back and be like, why is this overwhelmingly positive? Is it that good of a storyline? I didn't get captured that much in the first little bit I played. But yes, Game Deck is very good, if a little bit short. And a bunch of the other games look quite good as well. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is a good bundle. This is a good bundle. Next one is the Prestige Collection. I did not buy this one. Wait. No, I think I did. I just bought it only a few of the games. Oh, wait. No, I did buy all 4. It just was very expensive. I looked it up, and it was vaguely cheaper, my option, than their cheapest ever price. Still, if you haven't got Fallout 4 or Wolfenstein, you probably will by now. They're good pickups, obviously. Another one, Dreamscaper, another Kickstarter game I backed, quite good. I played on my mountain, meaning to go back and play more. Road 96 was one I always thought looked interesting. Haven't played it yet. Looking forward to it. Parkasaurus was literally the game I was talking about just before. Golden Light is one of those games which was included in the Humble Bundle this week. So hopefully you didn't buy that. I didn't because I don't like horror. So I guess they're really pushing it on you. Next one, Killer Bundle. This one has a lot of games. Like, we're talking a lot of games. I'm actually kind of surprised at how many games these Killer Bundles have. And yes, a few of them are ones you'll see a lot. Like Hypnospace Outlaw, you'll get a lot of copies of that over time, right? But they're good games. And Iron Fish is also there. Wait, Iron Fish is also there, which means I already own Iron Fish. No, I forgot about I forgot about owning Iron Fish. Yeah, I do already own it. Okay. Actually, I've owned it for a year now, so I guess Iron Fish is another one I'll be having to give away. So that's all good. Point is, it's a pretty good bundle, even if you get some duplicates from it. So it's $37 for everything. It's not a pick and mix from them. A lot of interesting games here. A lot of games, and of course, Steam copies of both Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition and Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition. So that alone is probably worth it. Mechanist, quite a good game. I've heard good things about a Medieval. So yeah, it looks alright, especially for how much it is. Then they had the Build a Bento bundle. This one, less exciting, quite frankly. A lot of these games are horror, for one, and a lot of them are like weird dating simmy sort of things. Not the best selection here this time around either. The only game here which I would say I've actually played is Valrifian Arc. And even though it's Kickstarter backer, I really didn't like it because it did not allow any form of mouse control, which felt I don't remember if I ended up buying this or not when it first came out. I think I did. That's right, I did. I did because I remember I wanted Tears of Avia. Instead, they gave me Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, which I didn't ask for. So then I actually contacted Fanatical support and said, hey, you got me the wrong thing. And not only did they let me keep Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in Dungeon, they then gave me the one I was actually meant to get. So overall, I didn't waste my money with it, I don't think. But yeah, it's not the best bundle. If you weren't trying to collect a massive number of games like I am, you probably don't care about this one. And finally, the Build Your Own Infinity VR bundle. So Skyrim VR, Fallout VR. There's your two. There's your two you want to get. If you want to go up to 3, I expect you to die. If you want to go up to 5, probably Super Hot. And Cave Digger 2. They're both good. That being said, if you're like me and you own a lot... Oh, Arizona Sunshine's pretty good too. If you're like me and own a lot of VR games already, you're only going to be able to get the pretty sort of games. So I didn't end up buying this. I probably should have had a better look at, see if there was anything, because some of them look quite good. But in general, VR games are usually very expensive. Let's just put it that way. But if you've got VR, you've usually bought what you want, and you'll buy whatever you want as soon as it comes out because you're trying to support VR development in general. There are a lot of good games here, though, if you've somehow missed out on them, but chances are you haven't. And finally, last but least, let's have a look at the Humble Bundles. Obviously, the Turkey, Syria, Earthquake Relief Bundle is still going on. Nothing additional that I know of has been added into this bundle. So it is still exactly the same as it was when I did my overview. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. My takeaway from this was it's not a great bundle because it's got a lot of very questionable game choices. However, you're doing it for earthquake relief, so why not just do it anyway? It's 100% donated bundle. These are quite rare, so it's one where Humble doesn't even take a cut, which is good. 100% charity ones are usually the ones which I try and buy, even if I don't necessarily need them all. Then we have the Unparalleled Puzzlers pack. Has a series of good games. Barber Is You, I've played on the channel before. Dorf Romantic, I've played on the channel before. Not for a Shameless Dive, not for a Mountain of Shame, but for a Shameless Dive or for a just episode, because I really like Dorf Romantic. I already owned Last Campfire, and yeah, it's quite a good little bundle here if you don't own these games. But it's another one of those ones where I'm like, if you like this sort of puzzle game, you will probably own at least one or two of these titles already. So, eh. And finally, well, I suppose it will. If you do like this sort of game, this sort of thing, like if you will it, I'm sure it will come. But seriously, fishing games, they're hard, right? Like some of them can be quite good, but others are just way too serious, and you're just like, yeah, fishing gamers really love their fishing games. So, does this contain any games which I would suggest? It doesn't contain any of the fishing games I've played. Like I played the Ultimate Fishing Simulator, whatever it's called. I don't know. I don't know if these games are any good. I'm not gonna buy it because let's face it, look at it. It is 24 item bundle, but game with DLC. It's one game, 2 games DLC, 3 games DLC, 4, 5, 6 games DLC. So literally, it's 6 games. It doesn't feel like much. Even if it's 6 games, $17, it just, yeah. Okay, wait, that's not even. Oh, it's gonna be like, can you at least buy all the 6 games? Nope, you have to buy all the useless DLC too. Yeah. Okay. So overall, fairly good month for games. Obviously, the Steam sale starts in 6 days as well, so that will also lead to cheap games. But yeah, what do you think? Did you like the Humble Bundle? Amazon Prime games really gelling with you? Are you surprised by the value or the bundles on Fanatical or Humble at the moment? Put your comments down down below, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you for joining me for my Eruption of Shame of March 2023, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.